Nassie here at Next Level Guitar. How you doing? Today we're going to have a really fun Inspired By lesson by a fantastic band, one of my favorite bands. This is going to be out of E minor. Now, you listen to the tone of that chord, it's a little bit lower than your typical E minor. So I must point out right away that this guitar is tuned down one whole step. So let's go over the tuning of the strings so that way that you guys are comfortable and we'll be matching. If you don't have a guitar down a whole step, it doesn't matter. All this will totally apply as I communicate it in standard tuning. That's the way that I like to think about it. So this low string is going to be from an E down to a D, right? One whole step lower. This is going to be an A and we're going to go down to a G. This is going to be a D and we're going to go down to a C. This is a G and we're going to go down to an F. This B is going to go down to an A, and then this E goes down to a D. So we're all good there. So I'm kind of spelling out what is an E minor triad, actually. So that's kind of cool, and it's in a bit of more of a bluesy fashion, and I'm going to treat it like that. I can slide into that. I can pinch that note. And just have a good time with it, right? When you're detuned like this, a lot of these riffs take on a completely different context. Now this chord here is going to be like leading from a C into a D type of a chord. I'm going to go, it's pretty exotic sounding. What I've got here is the 3rd fret and the 4th fret, so this is the 5th string and the 4th string. I love this dissonant sound, or the really creative sound you get from those open strings. So here I'm holding a C type of a chord that really is just more like a D chord than anything else, but I've got the open G in there, which makes it kind of like an 11 chord if you want to get technical. I can add this pinky up on the high E string on the 5th fret as well, and that's going to give me some color. So I have, and that's a really nice thing that you can do in any kind of context. And then now we're going to kick up to, you know, the more up-tempo feel of the song, and this is going to have some nice driving kind of 16th note rhythm going with my right hand. Now when we do this, I'm focusing just on the low string, and I'm palm muting pretty heavy. Turn my hand this way, turn my body rather, so you can see how I'm holding that thing. My wrist is against the guitar. I gotta say, I'm not using my arm. That gets a little bit noisy, especially when we're playing with distortion. It's a little harder to kind of attack it that way. So we want to have a lot of control. And when we do this, I can bring in notes that sound really, really cool. Now, turn back this way. I'm going, keeping it pretty simple. I'm doing an E and I'm going to a natural F there, and I'm going to go up to my A. And that just has a nice sound just with the spacing of those notes, and we'll just leave it at that. So you get into, here's that moment where you just get your right hand going and you can double up on some of these. Maybe bring in some of these other kind of sounds. Now what I did at the top of the video to be kind of in the feel of the tune, I did this. And what that is slow, then I'm going to pull in some of these chords that I think sound really cool in this kind of a musical situation. I have my octave going on here, and I was really just kind of like, oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. And I just stuck in key, and it all totally worked. So I have, if I communicate this in standard tuning, these are C's, right? This is my E, and this is going to be an F sharp over here. I can bring, now look at that, that's a little bit tricky, because I slid this first finger up, but I got to keep it in the same fret as my middle finger. Just things that we could play around with. I must say too, I have a little bit of chorus on my sound, so if your ear twists when I'm isolating some of these chords and you're like, that dude's out of tune, it could be the chorus, it could be the chorus. This is going to lead up to kind of a cool voicing where we're playing the octave again. That's kind of the reoccurring theme, but then I have what would be the 3rd with my 1st finger. And a lot of times when I do that, I'll slide up a whole step just because it gives it some good melodic content. So you have, and like a melody or a tag to this verse riff, so to speak, a little bit different and just on the lower end. So. Spell that out nice and slow. It's really, really cool to play, and you can put that into your playing. It's a great moment. All we got to do is click on that link that we see below, and when you click on that link that you see below, just in that YouTube text box, you get a lot of great information. You get a coinciding ebook that's got all kinds of great scales and chord diagrams in it, but most importantly, you get a free video that's not available on YouTube. And you get this by all you have to do is just click on that link that you see below. And it's a nice thing to have, and we can use that style in so many different things. Really just think of how you can drive off of a low string. And it's the feel that we're going for. We had a halftime kind of feel at the beginning. Really open, right? And that's what stylistically is cool about this band, is we're taking those dynamics from part to part. And as a writer, you want to think about those things. You don't want to have everything just be like one even kind of feel through your tune. You're bringing in a lot of different feels, and it goes straight into, you're going to open up for the chorus after this. So I go to an E minor bar chord, and off of that E minor bar chord, I can do all kinds of great things. Now I'm arpeggiating the chord, by the way, that I'm picking. Fancy way to say my notes are separate. I can go, that's just straight down. Notice I lift my middle finger. Maybe I can go. So slowly, for all the wonderful tabbers here at Next Level, I'm going. Now notice the difference is I have first fingers on 7, middle fingers on 8. I'm going to remove those guys and go to the 7th fret with my second string. So this chord, we're going to get stretchy now, so we have a nice. Now this chord is definitely the cover of a magazine for sure. You have that really nice 9 sound, and then I'm going to bring in my E over here with my 3rd finger, so it's quite a stretch. But it works good in whole steps. It sounds really nice. Any variation you want. You want to do that first, just to get the feel. Totally cool. It doesn't really matter. You can do it different every time. They have structure. They wrote this song. We're being inspired by it. We can mess around. And you go right back into the main part of the song, and it's pretty sweet. You want to vary it, and you want to maybe take the impression of what you think they're doing and try to get those sounds. It doesn't have to be totally right. If you want to learn the song note for note, that's one desired effect. But right now, we're just trying to say, hey, these chords work great together. I have all these variations, and I can make them my own. I can be inspired by this song, and I can write myself in the same kind of context. I'm thinking that I have a halftime bluesy kind of intro with some pretty chords, or however you want to look at them, some nice suspended chords, and I go into an up-tempo verse. Then I break it open again with a nice catchy chorus. And if I want to solo, this is in E, so I've got all the love I need. I can work out of my E pentatonic scale, and it's a great way for us to jam. So I hope you think this is a good lesson. I had a good time doing it. I'm having a hard time speaking, but I'm getting there. We're just getting started for the day, so come along for the ride, everybody. Go to the website, nextlevelguitar.com. All the hits and more. I don't know how many videos are there, but I bet it's a lot.
Over 1,550 and growing.
There you go, over 1,550 and growing. Ever strong and growing, people. Thank you for your support, and I will see you there.